Welcome to the Bates Motel, where you can check in anytime you like, but you'll never leave alive. My goal was to build the Bates Motel from the 1960 movie, Psycho, as part of our overall haunt. Using reference photos and a little imagination, this infamous motel came to life in our driveway. It took several months, but we managed to build this iconic motel just in time for Halloween. Even if you had never seen the movie, the display still set off a creepy vibe. So, here's how we did it. It started with 5 sheets of pink insulation foam. I eventually had to buy one more to fill a gap at the top. I cut out the windows and used a hot wire to score the panels. I wanted the walls to look like wood siding without the work of making individual overlapping wood pieces. Next came the paint. I looked on the web for a color palette that would have been used in the 1950s. Since Psycho is in black and white, I took a look at the Psycho sequel that was made in 1983. Using that movie set as a reference, I was able to color match similar paint colors to my project. After a disastrous try at making wood out of foam boards, I decided that using real wood for the window and door frames was a better option. By using real wood, it gave the foam boards some extra strength and stability. Once the window and door frames were securely glued to the facade, next came figuring out how to support the walls. For the back supports, we used 2x4 wood studs across the top and middle of the walls. We then made braces and screwed them into the studs. We also added 40-pound sandbags to weigh down the bottom of the support braces. Details were added to match the movie set build. I added a working doorbell, room key, deposit box, room number, and office sign. For the window on the office door, I used a poster frame and added blackboard and butcher paper to give it the appearance of a window. The porch lights were jelly jar style lights that would have been used in the 1950s. We also added a short circuit bulb for an eerie lighting effect. All the wiring was hidden from view and the lights were hung on a painted frame in order to easily remove afterward. Mrs. Bates was a prop that we modified to sit on this rocking chair. The rocking motion was done with a wiper motor and steel bar that was attached to the underside of the chair. Even though Mrs. Bates is technically already dead in the movie, I think she looked very much at home standing next to her son Norman. Now comes my favorite part of the build. The sign. The sign is made out of pink foam board and is 4 feet across by about 42 inches top to bottom. I laid out the letters using my computer and hand painted them. The challenge was to make the sign look like real neon. I found a tutorial using EL wire and modified the design using cord clips and plastic tubing. Once I figured out how to string up the first few letters, the rest came pretty easily. I used 2 white EL wire strings for the main sign and 1 red EL wire for the vacancy portion. The EL wire has a 3-way option, so the red vacancy wire was able to be on a steady blink. We attached 2 8-foot PVC poles to the back of the sign. It really looked great as part of the overall display and pulled the entire design together. I know Marion Crane doesn't quite make it through the entire movie, but I thought she deserved to be part of the display. Oh, and the birds on her are in tribute to another Hitchcock film. Can you guess which one? Unbelievably, we pulled this all together Halloween day in a matter of hours. There were a few minor glitches, like the projections that were supposed to show through the windows didn't work, but, hey, there's always next year. It was a fun build and here's the entire haunt including the motel. We like to do a side theme every year to make the haunt more interesting. Last year was Stranger Things Vecna. This year, it's the Bates Motel. Who knows who will show up next year? Happy Halloween!